Okay, before we get to the Age of Ultron next week, we must first experience the Age of Adeline. The Age of Adeline. So The Age of Adeline is a movie starring Blake Lively, who this Justin is incredibly attractive, as a woman named Adeline Bowman. She's living a normal life in 1937 San Francisco when one day she accidentally crashes her car, and then she's struck by lightning, and instead of gaining super speed, she gains immortality. Yeah, at 29 years old, she will never age another day. And now it's present day and the movie follows her here. And when I saw this premise in the trailers, I admit I was really intrigued. It's an interesting concept. If you just live forever, what would you do with your life? And I was really surprised by this movie. I wasn't sure if it was going to be any good, but I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. First off, I didn't think there was anything wrong with the acting. I liked Blake Lively a lot in the lead role. She has that kind of innocent look about her. She also plays the fear really well. She doesn't want to meet anybody. She doesn't want to start a relationship with anyone for obvious reasons, because she'll outlive them. So when she does meet this dude, of course she wants nothing to do with him at first. Now this guy Ellis is really persistent. He meets her in an elevator and he starts putting the moves on her and she's rebuffing. So they leave the building, she gets a cab, and this guy runs up to the cab and grabs the window to try to keep it from leaving, still trying to win her affections. I was like, whoa dude, I gotta give you credit. He was good in the movie, but I admit he was my least favorite character. Harrison Ford is in this movie, which surprised me a lot. I didn't know he was going to be in this movie before I saw him. What isn't that surprising is that he's good in the movie too. His role in the movie was also something that I didn't expect, and it was really cool. You know what else was good in this movie? The storytelling. There were a couple of pacing issues, yes, but all in all, I loved the story in this movie. I felt sorry for Adeline and her situation. I felt attached to her. I felt attached to the rest of the characters. There was never really a moment that took me out of the movie. Well, there were some, but they had nothing to do with the characters or the story. It was actually the narration. This is strange because this movie actually has a narrator like old Disney style, and at first I was like, okay, I heard this in the trailer and it'll just be for the beginning of the film. Nope, this narrator comes in quite a few times during this movie. And I understand that some things need to be explained about the plot, but I think he might have explained a little too much about the current situation. I think I would have liked some stuff to be left to the imagination so the movie could make me think, you know? But instead he rambles on a little too much and it gets annoying. And the ending. I felt the ending was way too predictable. When you have a movie about someone who doesn't age, you can already come up with a couple of different endings in your head. Like it's either gonna play out like this, or this. At least that's what I was thinking when I was watching this movie, and one of those endings that I thought of ended up happening. I was watching this movie with a friend and he even whispered in my ear, yeah, it's gonna happen like this. And I was like, yep, and sure enough, that's what happened. That's a bummer, but with this premise, you're kind of trapped in that corner. There are only so many ways you can end a movie about someone who doesn't age. But for most of the movie, I was fully immersed. I love the characters, I love the acting, I love the story, and I loved the score. The score in this movie by Rob Simonson, I think it was one of the best scores I've heard this year. I'm getting that soundtrack. I was humming with it a lot. So I loved this movie, and I will say, go see this movie while it's in theaters. I know this movie's getting a lot of mixed reactions. Here's a positive one. So The Age of Adeline. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.